Ships or Shipsy? Only you can decide. Find out more at shipzorz.com. Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. It is time for another Thoughts and Coffee. I realized on some of the other episodes that I didn't even introduce who I am. So Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, founder and host of Let's Talk Supply Chain, CEO of Ships, and I have been up for a few hours already. I just finished an amazing panel discussion with Daniel Stanton, Martha Lumatete, and Stephanie over at Risk Methods at the Supply Chain Tech Conference. And so I don't know if you were there, but if you were, let us know because I had a great time over there. And then right after this, I'm scooting over to the Woman in Supply Chain conference to be part of the panel discussion on talent, which I can't wait for as well. So let's quickly dive into what is happening over at Let's Talk Supply Chain, because I know we've got a big announcement coming up, and I will bring Audrey up on the screen for that one. So this week's episode is Breaking Glass Ceilings in Supply Chain with Hope White. If you don't know Hope White, you want to know Hope White. She is amazing. She's doing amazing things in logistics with her company, HD White Logistics, and on the consulting side as well. So go and check that out. It's episode 141. And of course, we're in the middle of our mini series with Tealbook, and the episode 3 that we launched last week is all about how diversity matters and what they're doing in the supplier diversity space. And this week, we finalized the mini series with episode 4. And that's going to come out on Thursday afternoon. We've got a lot of new stuff over on our YouTube channel, the SC Supply Chain TV, a new Supply Chain Minutes coming out again Thursday morning this week. We've got a new video from the front lines, and we've got Susan Walsh coming up Wednesday afternoon with a new data den as well. And then this afternoon, we've got a brand new blog by Mikel over in Spain, all about supply chain talent. And it's a really great blog. So go over to blog at letstalksupplychain.com. And I think that's kind of about it. I'm just going to go through my notes. Oh, the last one I want to bring up is the question of the week. That's going to be all over our social on Wednesday morning. And the question is, what are the biggest gaps in supply chain talent today? So you can see we've got, obviously we're talking all about talent this week, which is amazing. And I think it's something that we definitely need to be talking about because there are a lot of gaps. And our big announcement, it actually has something to do with that. So let's bring Audrey up. Good morning, Audrey.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
It's Tuesday. And you're back, which is awesome. I always love having you on Thoughts and Coffee because you're so full of pep and perspective. And I think you and I have a lot of fun. So
yeah. Unexpected facial expressions, keeping it live.
Yeah, Larry caught that last time. Well, on one of my previous episodes, because I forgot to remove myself before we started. But that's okay. That's okay. Whatever. So before we do the announcement, why don't we talk about what we did on Friday?
Oh my gosh.
What did we do?
What did we do? Friday.
That's so long ago.
Sometimes it feels like it. It feels like an age. No, oh my gosh. Friday, we went to the spa and had the best day at the spa ever. And we had a long drive and we laughed a lot and we relaxed and it was fabulous. And I think we should do it every day.
Every day. Well, work might get in the way of that, but we definitely took some time for some self-care on Friday. And it was much, much needed. And that kind of takes me into why I wrote the Thoughts and Coffee post that I did on Sunday. And that was all about self-care because it's super important to what we're doing right now. I mean, whether you're in lockdown, whether you can go out and have a spa day like we did on Friday, there's multiple different ways that we can do some self-care, but we all need it right now for our survival and for our success. So what did you think about that post that I wrote about?
I loved it because I mean, self-care can look very different to very different people, right? It's about figuring out what are the things to do, either activities or restfulness, the things that you choose to do that refresh you and rejuvenate you. And so that can be a variety of different things, right? I think, for some people, it's like, it's having that hot bath. It's having, it's being meditative. It's going for a run. It's being active. It's, it just can mean so many different things, but it's so important to stop and take that time for yourself. And I think, especially with the situation we've had this year, I think all of us have been hustling so hard, since March with there's a lot of changes. We're working from home. We have new coworkers at home, or either children, our pets, our roommates, our neighbors. And then, it's been, kind of a different summer than normal. I think a lot of people maybe weren't able to take the vacations that they normally take. So, really pausing to be like, okay, I've had to think about this too. What do I do on a vacation day when I'm not going to visit my dad in the US, when I'm not going on a vacation? What do I do with a vacation day if it's not travel? What do I do on a vacation day if it's not an event, right? So I think a lot of it's, for me, it's been such a big mind shift of like, what do I do to take care of myself? So I thought it was a fabulous post. And your piece on creativity too. Like, I think, I don't have a hobby where I'm, painting or, doing something like that. So like, what do I do that kind of fires up? What is it? The left side?
Yeah.
Left side? No.
That's
how unfamiliar I am.
So we ended up going to the spa on Friday, and then on Saturday I ended up going to, I have this naturopath that I go to that does functional medicine. And it was interesting because I'm doing some brain scans with them because I've got a lot going on. And so I want to be able to focus more, and they're going to be able to help me do that. And so when I went there and we did the brain scans, she was actually telling me, and one of the reasons why I decided to post that is that she said, when I'm really done with focusing, when my brain is like completely done with focusing, my creativity spikes. Wow. So she's like, when you hit that wall and you can't focus anymore, one thing that you should be doing is actually shifting your focus to doing something creative. And it was interesting because I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, what do I do with myself from a creative standpoint? Because I don't paint. I like to sing. So I guess I could, walk around the house like singing my heart out. Or I could dance, I guess. I'm not too bad. The camera's off. Nobody's looking. I mean, I could go and dance it out a little bit. But it was kind of like, what am I going to do with myself? And she's like, it's not long. You only need to take 5 minutes or something like that.
So it's like kitchen dance party. That's what
right? Well, so it was just interesting because I was like, what do I do with myself that's creative? Anyways, so we got some really good feedback on that post. We're going to be posting that link in the comments for you, or on the post itself a little bit, or like on this post itself a little bit later, so that you can check it out and what everybody does from a self-care standpoint. Some people were talking about sewing. Some people were talking about diet. Some people were talking about writing. Some people were talking about getting out in nature and just going for a walk and feeling inspired. So there's a lot of different things that people are doing, and there's a lot of different things that you can do. And that's kind of why I wanted to write the post. It looks like Moyes over here is saying that cooking could be a good way to be creative. Yes, if I liked cooking. It's not my favorite activity, but that is a really good one. I mean, I will agree with that. Over on my personal LinkedIn, just want to give a couple of shout outs. Imatiaz is there. Guillermo, hello, all the way from Brazil. Hello. Abhinav, good morning. Prakash, happy Tuesday. And Lisa, she says good morning, Sarah and Audrey. So good morning to you, Lisa, as well. So we're not only monitoring the comments that are here in StreamYard, but we're monitoring comments on my personal page. So if you see me looking all over the place, I'm trying to make sure that we've got everything going on. Alex over here says meditation. That is exactly, something that helps me as well. I actually multitask, and I have a bath and do meditation at the same time. And I do some visualization exercises and stuff like that. So that is a really, really good one. What's this one? Keeping cool and maintain mental balance. Yes, that's absolutely true. But it's different for everybody, what that looks like, right?
Absolutely.
So I guess we can come before we get into our articles that we're going to talk about. We should probably talk about the big announcement that I had mentioned in the Supply Chain Now buzz yesterday. And I've got a couple of announcements, actually, that it's not just one of them.
No,
and so we have officially launched our TikTok account. So it's the Let's Talk Supply Chain TikTok account. And there's a couple of reasons why we've done this. So first of all, when we talk about talent, we want to make sure that, obviously there's gaps, right? There's gaps from students coming out of the programs, the companies wanting on-hand experience. And so we want to bridge that gap by using TikTok. We want to meet the students where they are and in the programs that they're using. And that's why we decided to go with TikTok. And so you're going to be seeing some amazing things through our TikTok channel. If you are a supply chain management student and you're watching today, I really want you to reach out to us because we are going to be getting in contact with programs worldwide, and we want students, supply chain management students, to be taking over our account. And so we're going to be doing that. So make sure that you get in touch with us either through the website or listener at letstalksupplychain.com. And we're also going to be taking women in supply chain to a whole new level. And we're going to be empowering through dance and song, which I'm really excited about. I don't know about you, but
I was like all on board, and then I kind of got a little bit nervous, but I think I'm jazzed back up. So.
Good. Yes. And you should be, because you're going to be amazing. So all of us, there's a bunch of women coming together, and we're going to do some stuff that's very empowering. So if you're on TikTok and you're not following us because you didn't know, go and follow us at Let's Talk Supply Chain. And and if you're a company that wants to get involved with that and help nurture that talent and find talent with us on TikTok, please get in touch with us, because we're definitely going to be looking for that as well. And the second announcement, people have been hearing me talk about this. We are going to be launching a new diversity series on the podcast, and that's actually going to be starting the third week of October. I think we're going to be, I can't remember what day of the week we are going to be releasing that, but we are going to be releasing that third week of October, and it's called Blended. And we wanted to come up with a name that really, was suitable for what we're putting together. We've got our first recording coming up in the next week and a half, and you're going to be hearing from a multitude of supply chain professionals worldwide talking about a multitude of different topics. We have the whole year mapped out of what we want to be talking about, but this is going to be authentic, guys. Like, this is going to be authentic stories, impacts, what it means to you as an individual, how, words are impacting you, and so much more. Audrey's going to be a part of it. And so what do you think, Audrey? I think it's time that the industry, has something like this. What do you think?
Well, and I mean, I've been lucky because I've been kind of seeing it from its inception and its kind of journey. But I think, there's a gap in being able to be authentic about what's going on, and not, it's not putting a facade on it. It's not talking points. It's not, we've seen a lot of sort of performative sharing and sort of performative company statements from people. And it's really, I think this really digs into people's, experiences and their own stories. And you found such a wide variety of people globally who are going to be participating. So I think the more, as we're in supply chain, the more we realize that one, there are people who the supply chain is very similar globally, right? A lot of
Yeah.
us, we're moving goods port to port, but I think too that each of us, we're all unique and have our own experience in that, kind of world and experience. So I'm absolutely very excited to see it launch.
Well, and I think we need to create some more understanding. It was
Yes,
somebody said something in the panel I was on last week,
yeah,
and it was conversations to understanding. We need to be able to have these authentic conversations to be able to create that empathy, create the understanding so that we can understand and really stop and think about, okay, what are my actions potentially doing
yeah,
for others or against others? Or, and not even maybe realizing it. And so we can only really change our behavior once we understand that. And
yeah.
so that's really what we're hoping to do with this new series.
And even, despite the busyness, I know, we're all busy. There's a lot going on. I
There
think,
is.
we can, like there's so many tasks, there's so many things coming at us. There's a lot of external stuff. I think we cannot forget that at the heart of everything that we do in this world, from family to friends, like we're people, and having compassion, kindness, and respect and appreciation for that has to be the foundation. That has to be fundamental before any
Yeah.
of the busyness and the craziness, and that, like, it's so important to take the time. You have to, right? We have to do that for each other,
Yeah.
as human beings.
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry for my facial expression. I
I know.
almost clicked on my live post and then you would have heard us like in an echo and I was like, "No." Just want to say good morning to Joseph. Davin is also on my personal page. Talking about how with forced time off for plant shutdowns and nowhere and nothing to do. So it's been something that he's struggled with, what we were talking about, self-care. So
Yeah.
hopefully my posts have been able to help and give you different options for what you can and cannot do. Scott Luton, he's joining us this morning because he
Oh,
wanted to know about the big announcement that I talked
like we
about
did.
yesterday on the buzz. Good morning, Scott. We're glad that you could be with us today. All right. So with the announcements past us,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about the hot topics in supply chain. So, what
Yeah.
are we talking about first? I think we are talking
Mhm.
about seafarers.
I
So,
think,
this was an article that you have brought to our attention.
mhm.
We've talked about this before. I spoke a little bit about it on the buzz with Scott and Jammin yesterday. But it's a really, really big, important issue. And that's why we're bringing it up again, because Fidelity in the Financial Times has been part of this, I guess,
Article.
talking about it, the voice behind it in this article. So why don't you kick this off and let us know what it's all about?
Yeah. So there, right now we've had a bit of a seafarer crisis. So if you're not aware yet, seafarers work on very long contracts, usually about 11 months. With the pandemic, a lot of them have been just stuck on these vessels because there's been a lot of difficulties with repatriation, immigration issues, and getting them back to their home countries, with all of the restrictions due to COVID.
Yeah.
And because there's so many priorities for governments at the moment, right, with around COVID, this has sort of been kind of falling off the list, and it's really become to the point where these people have been stuck on boats just for absolute. I think we're getting into 14 months, 15 months, 16 months timing.
Yeah.
And this article specifically is bringing up. So one, you have, of course, it's just unacceptable to force people to be stuck somewhere, and not to have their own freedom of mobility, freedom of movement, and that they're sort of basically stuck at their job, which none of us would want. But what the result of that is, and what this article talks about, sort of from Fidelity, is bringing up concerns on safety and security of the supply chain itself.
Mhm.
At the risk of employees, seafarers being overexerted, overtired. This can lead to risks on financial risk. It can lead to safety risk. The vessels can be compromised. There's talk of corruption from outside forces who are able to influence these seafarers who are just stuck and vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it's a big concern for us. And so if I know there's been a petition going around, and I'll share it on my LinkedIn page again too. And if there's a in Canada, we have an immigration minister, transport minister. So if there are ministers in your own country that you could just take a moment and send a quick note to, to kind of push for repatriation, and a solution to what is becoming, and what could become a global supply chain crisis.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And this article, like I'm just looking at this quote right
Yeah,
here, governments must act before we see more people die or worse, a major maritime disaster.
disaster.
So
Yeah,
this is not something to be ignored. This is
yeah,
definitely something that we need to be taking a look at. We need to get involved as supply chainers, as an industry. They are an essential service, right?
yes,
It's saying that our food, our energy, so much of our trade we wouldn't have without seafarers. One of the challenges that they're having is because of the lack of international flights is to be able to get them back to their families. I
yeah,
mean, a lot of us can understand from maybe being in lockdown and sort of understanding what that looks like. However, we were still going to grocery stores.
yeah,
We weren't stuck on a boat. And so you
yeah,
can see what happens from a mental health standpoint when you're in lockdown, let alone lockdown on a boat,
yeah,
and not being able to have contact with your family,
yeah,
not being able to get home to your family,
yeah,
and just what it's doing to our industry and what it's doing to people in our industry. We're all about people. We're
yeah.
all about community. And so it's time that we really get behind what is happening over here and put a voice to it and see what we can do to help. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring this article to light and talk about it again, because the more we can talk about it, the more I think difference and impact that we can make.
Hmm.
All right. So, Indonesia. What is happening
Yeah,
over in Indonesia? So, this came out from McKinsey and Company, and it's an article about what they've been through in the
yeah,
last couple of months. In June, they're talking about the International Monetary Fund predicted that the global economy would shrink by 4.9%. Indonesia has already cut its 2020 GDP growth outlook to 2.3%, and that's down from 5.3% in April. And their cases are growing. And so this is an article that really takes a look at how Indonesia can emerge from the COVID-19 crisis stronger. And it talks about all of these antidotes, right? And it goes into what that means. And it's talking about different sectors that the government can focus on and what that could mean to reemerging stronger. And I think, one of the reasons why I wanted to pick this article is because we don't hear a lot about Indonesia, first of all. Second of all, I think this can apply across the board. And I think we've got a lot of countries out there that has the potential to possibly emerge stronger if maybe taking some of these comments into account. And it's fun to see that supply chain is the one right in the middle there.
yeah.
So when you read this, what did you think?
I mean, McKinsey usually puts out, really succinct and clear articles. So they're usually full of things that can be applied elsewhere, right? So this goes into some of the kind of geopolitical and policy things that can be done, for a country, talking about the healthcare, technology, and innovation, but also about, sort of the social contract. What in a pandemic you're sort of willing to give up a bit of your privacy in order to have improved healthcare, and tracking and tracing of the virus. And it also talks about how, I think in Indonesia, like most places, it wasn't a place where you worked from home necessarily, or it
Right.
wasn't a place where remote work or a lot of video conferencing was common. So this kind of goes into the challenges of getting workers and employers to adopt that as a strategy. And I think a lot of us were in the same position. So it's always interesting to see what's going on globally, and what, there's some specific, unique challenges that McKinsey brings up. But it was interesting to see that there were so many similarities in how we worked, or what some of our concerns would be.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you on that. So over on my personal page, just want to give a shout out to our friend Claudia Freed. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. And then John Doble, he says, thank you for highlighting the Seafair issue. It needs more attention and action. And John, we couldn't agree more. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to highlight that. All right. Well, last but not least, we wanted to bring an article to you that is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it's my friends over at The Hustle again. I can't get enough of this newsletter that I get from them. I love The Hustle. And some of the articles, it's very apparent that it has to do with supply chain, but some of them it's not. And one of them is this one. It's not really that apparent that it has to do with supply chain. However, when you take a look at what they're doing and what they're talking about, they're really talking about how this is going to change the game for last mile delivery. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it to the forefront. So the title is Need a New Winter Coat? Try buying it from a music video. And what they're talking about here is how they want you to start buying from TV.
Of course.
Right. And they talk about music videos in specific. And then they're talking about, is shoppable TV really becoming a thing? So we're watching TV. We really like what somebody's wearing. So instead of going to Instagram and maybe DMing them or putting in a comment, what are you wearing? And them coming back and giving you the link and all that, you're actually going to be able to click on your TV and do a shop button. And apparently this is a thing. I didn't actually know this is a thing, but they're talking about.
This isn't like from 5 years from now. This is like now.
I know this is now, and I didn't even know it, but it's totally going to change the game. I mean, think about how much people are going to expect the last mile delivery just to get that much quicker. Because if you click buy now on your TV, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like,
come out of the
it
TV?
should be ding dong.
Like someone just hands it out of the TV to you. Is that what
Well, I mean, I'm not putting it out of the realm of possibility here.
At what point does it connect to like the 3D printer that is like embedded into your home wall? Like,
I don't think we're far off. I mean, I laugh, but I don't think we're far off from that. I mean,
I'm so excited. Like I'm like Star Trek Next Generation replicators. Like you can feel it. You're like, it's so close.
It's so close.
I'm so excited.
So either the buy now button in the future. So what we're saying, the future of the buy now button, we press it and either it goes to our 3D printer if we've got everything ready over there, or my doorbell goes off. Surprise!
Because there's a fulfillment center now on every corner.
And is that a person delivering it, or is it a drone delivering
it?
What?
It's a robot. It's a robot. It has to be a robot.
Well, the ones that I've seen on the street kind of go a little bit slow. I don't know if they're going to be able to, it may have to be some kind of drone.
Yeah, they're a drone. Yeah.
Apparently Stefan likes your Star Trek reference. Look at that. I can't do that. Can I do that? Oh,
you
maybe.
Can if you spend your entire childhood practicing.
I totally did it. Wow. That was exciting. Anyways, the article goes on to talk about Amazon's fashion competition show called Making the Cut. I didn't even know that was a thing either. The winning look appears on the screen with an Amazon buy button.
Oh.
So that's already happening. And on Teleport, which is a TikTok-like platform, they can show off their outfits and users get a cut of the profits on the clothing sold to followers. I mean, that's kind of like Instagram, but what we're talking about here, about it being on your TV with a buy now button, I mean, that's going to change the game for last mile delivery, because you're just going to have to be that much quicker in delivering the product.
Yes.
Right? What does
Raquel say? Raquel's like,
Snapchat. She's all over Snapchat. So my kids are all over Snapchat. I am very loosey-goosey on Snapchat.
But I made a decision.
It's definitely a thing. And then Moise says 3D printer idea absolutely makes sense. I mean, we've been talking about 3D printers for a while. I don't think they're going away. I think they're definitely going to be part of our new normal at some point moving forward into the future. But we've got 1 minute left. So what do you want to say to everybody for the rest of the week?
Oh my gosh. It's a fabulous week. It's the first week of fall.
No.
It's the first autumn. If I say it autumn, do we know what it is? It's amazing.
I don't know about that. I don't know where summer went, to be perfectly honest with you. And I wouldn't mind to have it back because I like the warm weather. I'm not looking forward to snow at all, but it's inevitable and it's coming. And since we can't travel anywhere,
we're going to have to love it.
Yeah, loving it is a bit too far, just a little bit too far.
We're going to have to graciously accept that it's part of our lives. Just like this pandemic, it's at some point it's going to settle in.
Thank you, Audrey. Thank you for that. So everyone, I hope that we see you over on our new TikTok channel.
Wow.
We've already got some stuff up. Abby, who is handling this and working on this and putting this all together for me, is an amazing student from the University of Arkansas. And I can't wait to see you guys over there and hear all of your comments and feedback about what we're doing over on TikTok. And then get ready for the new diversity show. And, that's pretty much it from us here today. I'm just about to jump on the Women in Supply Chain Conference. And we hope you have an amazing week. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll see you again next week. I think next week I have Sarah Scudder on.
I think so.
Yes, Sarah Scudder is joining me next week. So stay tuned for that one, 10 a.m. Eastern, next week, September 29th. But have a great week, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you later.
Bye.